Sup peeps, Rockskull here. Since a lot of you liked my Tokyo Ghoul guide I did when that PTB came out, I thought I should of course come back and teach all the newbies coming to DBD for the FNAF chapter how to play as Springtrap. I'll even give some tips later on how to play against him for Survivor players. Just like last time, it's very important to note I'm making this guide as of the PTB, and parts of his power are subject to change on release. If there is anything major, I'll leave a pinned comment down below about it. Let's of course begin with the basics. Springtrap is a fairly tall killer who has a tear radius of 24 meters at base, which is a lot smaller than the average killer. He also moves at 4.4 meters a second, or 110% at base, which is slower than the average killer. Springtrap's main power is an axe he can throw at survivors, and once thrown he will become a 4.6 meters a second killer, which is the average killer speed. He returns to 4.4 meters a second whenever the axe is recalled. If the axe hits anywhere in the environment, it will stick there and gain this fireball radius around it for 20 seconds. If a survivor walks in it, Springtrap will be shown their location with Killer Instinct. If Springtrap hits a healthy survivor with the axe, they will become injured and have the axe embedded in them. The survivor cannot heal with the axe in them, and if Springtrap is close enough, he can instantly grab the injured survivor. Survivors can remove the axe themselves, though, and Springtrap can recall it if he wants it back. If the axe hits an injured survivor, it'll simply be downed. Springtrap also has a secondary power where you can teleport to security doors around the map. 7 in total spawn, and all you have to do to teleport is hop in one nearby, and select the one you want to teleport to once inside. Once you teleport, Springtrap will gain undetectable for 20 seconds, which means he has no tear radius, and no red stain while in chase. The survivors can also use these doors too, but if they enter a door while Springtrap is also teleporting, they will be instantly grabbed. The doors also have security cameras that are on top of each door the survivors can use as well. If they look at Springtrap long enough with the camera, his aura will become revealed to all survivors for about 10 seconds. Now for some advanced tips playing as Springtrap. Starting with the axe, I wanted to quickly speak about how best to use this, since how it works is not like you would expect. I'd say in 90% of scenarios it's best just to play him as a close range huntress, and not trying to go for snipes since the thing doesn't go that far. The fact that it doesn't go far, though, can make it really nice in spots Huntress is really bad in, mostly because you can throw it literally over those tall walls Huntress struggles at. This can really catch survivors off guard if you become good enough at it, but as someone who's been doing this a ton on the PTB, it's really tough to master. Also, don't sleep on the aura reveal the axe gives you, as it can be used to camp an area for a bit you expect survivors to come back to like a damage generator. Don't forget about the 4.4 versus 4.6 meters a second mechanic either. For example, if you got an axe in a survivor that's holding W away from you, just leave it in them. You should only recall the axe if you need it in chase. Otherwise it's cool to leave it for that extra speed. Nothing too advanced about teleporting with the doors I wanted to talk about, but that undetectable status you gain after teleporting is huge. 20 seconds is a long time, and since the teleporting has no cooldown, you can honestly just spam going through doors just to gain it and catch survivors off guard. Springtrap's footsteps are very loud, however, so don't expect to be that sneaky compared to other killers. The whole quick pickup thing is nice too, but you shouldn't be going out of your way to do it most of the time. Only do it when it's convenient. Trust me, it can really screw you up. The only scenario I'd call it necessary is to surprise survivors trying to escape endgame. Can't do heal techs if the survivor's already picked up. Springtrap has a lot of fun add-ons, but for the sake of the video, I'll just go through my favorites here. If you're starting out, I'd highly recommend the Help Wanted ad. With this add-on, it shows you the starting trajectory, and also if you hold it long enough, it'll actually show you the full trajectory. It does a really nice job teaching you how this thing works if you're starting out. Just don't get too used to it. Another great brown add-on I like running is the restaurant menu, which lets you recall the axe a little sooner if you miss or put it in the environment on purpose. Streamers is a great add-on too to just teleport around the map quicker, and the blue Foxy Hook add-on is just insane. It gives you and survivors 10% haste for 6 seconds when you run through the axe area of effect, which is straight up better than Clown's gas. I expect this one to be nerfed on release because it literally rewards you for missing most of the time. Another really interesting blue add-on is the Freddy's hat, which doubles the weight of the axe, making you throw it less far. You'd think this would be a bad thing, but I do actually think this add-on has some uses after doing some testing. Since it makes the axe fall so quickly, it can be fantastic for throwing over some of those tall loops if you get used to it. And you can hit different angles you just wouldn't be able to hit normally. This is pretty much where its usefulness ends, though, and I would consider being able to throw the axe further generally better. The Celebrate poster is a fun add-on that gives both you and the survivor you embed with the axe 20% haste and 20% vault speed as long as you stay within 32 meters of them. If the scenario is right, you could use this to chase other survivors nearby, and it probably works great on most indoor maps. Since Springtrap's kit is so varied, he has a lot of synergy with a ton of different perks. Of course, all the boring gen slowdown perks work on him, but also undetectable perks can be really fun. You can pretty much have permanent undetectable stacking perks like Unforeseen or Dark Devotion with teleporting through doors. A perk I'd actually highly recommend running is Lethal Pursuer if you have it, as you can use it to figure out where to teleport in the beginning. If you see someone use the camera straight away too, you can mess them up by teleporting to their location. Running other aura perks that work in chase like I'm all ears and Zancian tactics can be really fun as well to help you with your orbital throws. And lunge perks like coup de grace can be really fun too to assist you on chasing someone down who has an axe in them. These are just a few ideas I played with, but I think you get the idea that honestly any perk can work fantastic on Springtrap. Don't be afraid to run some wacky builds and experiment to figure out your preferred playstyle. Playing against Springtrap can be tough with his teleporting, almost permanent undetectable, and his ability to quickly grab you and chase. For his axe, it can actually be quite easy to dodge if you know how it works. Springtrap doesn't have a ton of range with it, and no mobility if he isn't running certain add-ons. Don't be afraid to just book it from a loop if you get a pallet stun on him. In general, you should keep your distance as much as possible, and most Springtraps will struggle on hitting you with the axe. Also remember, unlike Huntress, those tall short loops don't work as good against this killer since he has the ability to just arc the axe over it. If you see him looking to line up a shot, it might be best to straight up run away from the loop to another. The whole security camera reveal thing isn't super useful, I'd say, since the HUD gives you a lot of information on what's happening anyway in a match typically. Only maybe consider it if you're playing against a stealth trap and don't know where he is. Even then, being on the cameras is super risky with how you don't know what's going on around you while in the cameras. Teleporting through the doors can be nice for getting around the map, but you should only do it if you know he's in chase with someone else. Just look for those little things moving around a survivor in the HUD, and then you can hop in if needed. Otherwise you just shouldn't, since he can instantly grab you in there and ruin your day. Alright, so now we're going to do some gameplay analysis of just one of the games I played on the PTB, just to give you an idea of how in general Springtrap will play, and also to show you what builds I run. First, going over the perks here, we have Lethal Pursuer, which shows you the survivors the first 6 seconds you spawn in. And Barbecue and Chili shows you survivors 40 meters or more away from you after you hook a survivor, which I think is just nice to give you information on what to do next after you hook somebody. It shows you like where to teleport. And then as shown before, I'm all ears. This will let you see the survivors after they do a rushed action like vault a pallet or vault a window. I forget how long the duration is, but it gives you a good bit of aura reading, especially with Lethal Pursuer, which extends that duration by 2 seconds. The same goes with Barbecue and Chili, both plus 2. Yeah, I'm all ears is basically to get those orbital snipes. That's all I am running this for. Same if I were to run something like Zancian Tactics, or even the perk Predator is pretty good. And yeah, this final perk is called Unforeseen. This is when you kick a generator. Your tear radius will be transferred to that generator, and you will become undetectable for, I think, is like 30 seconds. It's a nice alternative to have if you don't feel like hopping in a door. It's gotten me some good scares. I really like this perk. I'm honestly like any killer. And with the add-ons I'm running, the first one is the Streamers. This lets you go through doors 20% faster. Really nice for teleporting. And this add-on, which I think is like the newspaper clipping or something, I forget what it's called. It lets you recall the axe a little bit faster if you miss, or it's just put in the environment. You will miss a lot with this killer. I'm just gonna say that now, especially starting out. So I think running this add-on is gonna be really, really nice for a lot of people. That's pretty much the whole build. So let's get into this game. As you can see, starting out, I'm using my Lethal Pursuer to look at these survivors. And also the thing about this generator here, I wanted to talk about this real quick. So the thing about this generator here on this map is that it will always spawn here. So that means that this door will also always spawn here, because the door's spawning is usually relative to the generator. And this door spot in particular is like really, really good. So as soon as I saw survivors going to this generator, I knew I should just go here. Yeah, you'll see why it's really good. Yeah, we go through this door here. Nice quick teleport because of our add-on. And surprise. It's pretty hard to hear that door if they're not like really listening, so that's why I really like going through that one. And boom, free grab. Again, you should only do that if you're out in the open like that, going for those grabs, because otherwise you might screw yourself over. I tried to hit her over the freaking railing there. I was hoping it would maybe like bug out. I decided not to chase her here because I want this Unforeseen on this generator. As I mentioned, it transfers the terror radius to the generator, and I gain Undetectable. Yeah, this lets me get a scare on this guy. This lady, rather. Yeah. She sees me coming, though. It's pretty loud when you ready your hatchet, by the way. Or axe, it's not a hatchet. Ooh, good attempt. I should have been a bit more patient with that. That's something that's very important with this killer, is being patient. Yeah, I get a nice throw on her. Yeah, if you're right next to a survivor too, by the way, you should always go for the axe, as long as it's not on cooldown. Something I want to mention too. Oh no, Bug's out there. So that'll be fixed on the live game. Yeah, bad throw. Thing about Springtrap, and honestly any projectile killer like this, is you need patience. You need to see like what these survivors are gonna do, and you can tell, like, I think this lady was looking back, but this one wasn't. But obviously she was gonna go left here, and this one was gonna go right because she was looking back. So, yeah, that was a bad throw by me. Simply put. And she had life there. Unlucky. This main building is quite sucky for killer, by the way. This main area is fine. It's just some of those vaults kind of near Foxy's area and stuff. They're pretty good. Be careful. I decided to go for this Nia because she decided to go close to me. Yeah, and that's what happens if you get close to Springtrap. Pretty much quick tip, if you're playing Survivor against this guy, just don't get close to him, dude. He will mess you up. It's like getting close to a Bubba. Screw yourself over by doing that. So yeah, I saw these two healing with barbecues, so went straight to him. I could have maybe tried to get undetectable too somehow, but yeah, it's fine. Yep, saw him back here. Nice throw. Something I don't know if it would have been possible with Huntress, because she kind of takes too long to wind up and all that. Tried to go for a grab there, didn't get it. Got some teleporting action. This is just a guess, I think. I don't think I saw anyone with barbecue. Yeah, if you don't see anyone with barbecue, that usually means they're close by. Not this lady, though. I almost had a good hit on there. I should have just, like, threw that axe straight away. But I waited too long. She got away. Must have thought I was gonna leave her there. She just stood there. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Kick this gen for unforeseen. Also, the Lori DC'd. I forgot that happened. Freaking Survivor DCs against you as Springtrap. The bots are insane. They will dodge the crap out of your axes. Don't even bother with snipes against the bots. They can only do the close range ones, or if they're vaulting. It's a free hit too. Yeah, this teleport's just a guess, because worked on this generator earlier, but not there now. Yeah, that undetectable you get after teleporting those, freaking insane. Yeah, look at that. I got a surprise because of that. Ah, bad throw. Bad throw, bad throw. Hold on, I want to discuss this. I want to discuss this bad throw and why it was bad. So, first thing that's important to note here is if we look at the Nia, like, look at it where her head's looking. She's not looking at me. She's just looking straight ahead of her. And that's a good sign to know, like, she's probably not going to juke. If a survivor isn't looking at you, they're probably not going to juke. They're not very smart. So that means I should have just thrown it, like, just directly at her, like, where she was going, knowing she probably wasn't going to juke. Just had a bit more patience, having time to, like, look at what she's doing. That's what you should always do. Read what the survivor is doing and see if they're gonna juke or not. This throw was just bad. It was kind of a guess if she was gonna juke to the right, but again, she wasn't looking back. If I knew that, then I would have just thrown directly at her. Decent attempt. Need a bit more patience though. 3 and 1 there. You can see after the vault we get 4 reading. Oh, this was a decent attempt, man. This was a decent freaking snipe. Again, like, this is the kind of stuff Springtrap can do that Huntress can't. This is what separates them. Huntress can't really do these kind of things. Oh, this is such a decent attempt, though. I just need to be a bit more to the right here. I knew that there was a pallet, like, where she was, but I was hoping it was right here. But I think it was actually in this area, like, where she is. So I was a bit off. This was a good attempt. I respect myself for it. Yeah, the pallet was a bit more to the right. It's kind of behind her, too. I could have hit her there. So I was a bit scared. Sorry if the playmate's bad. I don't know what that's about. There you go. Now I got her. Let me get some info with barbecue there. That someone's on that inside generator. What I'm hoping I do is I teleport to this door right here. Because again, I can just spook them. I don't remember if I do that or not. We'll see what I do here. Oh, okay, someone's here. So I end up kicking this gen. I think I just chased them. Yeah. Okay, well, this is fair. Yeah, this main building is a bit iffy for killer, as mentioned before. Especially those vaults. But luckily, this Nia didn't seem to know how to run it. So we're good. Free grab. Buggy grab. So, by the way, I wanted to point out something that I realized when I was playing earlier. Look what... This is what the freaking point thing is called. It's just called yoink. So if you want the yoink points, you just grab them. You get yoink points. Yeah, I see those two going to the hook. And I go for a teleport here, which is smart. I probably should have went to 3, not 2. I go into 2 here. They might have... Yeah, they ran away. Yeah, not a smart move by me. Going to 3 would have been better. Oh, she's just on the totem. And she's dead. Oh, they went that. Now we're just on this weird loop. This is not a bad one for Survivor. And there's double pallets like this. But as soon as the killer breaks one of them, it becomes pretty bad. Yeah, just let her go at that point. She's just booking it to Shack. No point in bothering in it. She just sits right there, taking the axe off. Ooh, orbital attempt. Not a decent attempt. It was at the loop, but not where she was. This is very important, again, if you're playing these kind of killers. You have to be patient. Here, I had no patience. I made a guess. Like, she's looking directly at me. Like, if she was just looking straight ahead this way, then what I did here probably wouldn't be bad. But instead, I just try and do a crazy flick, just where she is. But it's not smart. She just... Of course, she jukes back, because that's the correct move. And yeah, I miss. So yeah, pay attention to where the survivor's looking, and that will give you a good idea on where to throw your axe. A general tip for survivor is that you should just always look back to see if Springtrap is aiming, where he's aiming. Also, something big here during this freaking brutal Mori. So yeah, I go for this snipe attempt here. It fails. I do like the spot the axe is in, so I don't bother, like, waiting to recall it or anything. I just go with the Mori. And you'll see what happens in the background during this Mori. Yeah, we get some killer instinct, because they went back to that generator. It's very convenient that happened during the Mori, when I was looking back. Again, that's why you should just leave your axe in the environment sometimes. It's not a bad idea. It's very important to remember that aura reading only lasts like 20 seconds, I think. Because obviously don't leave it in there permanently. Cool. Good snipe attempt. But this is a bot, I think. So yeah, it's impossible to snipe the bots. I was able to do it like once in like the custom games I played. Yeah, it was very lucky. What the heck just happened there? That was weird. The bot like dead-hearted, and I missed at the same time. That was so goofy. I think after this, I kind of just goof with these last two survivors. Yeah, she literally just runs up to me. So I think we're just gonna end it there then, because obviously nothing else happens after they kind of give up like this. Yeah, I hope that gives you a good idea on how to play as and kind of against Springtrap. I gave some tips there too. You can let me know in the comments if I missed anything here in terms of tips, and you can let me know your thoughts on this chapter as a whole as well. You know, for me, it's the freaking perfect combo of FNAF and a Hunter's type killer. I freaking love it. Thank you guys for the support as always. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Rock skull. All I want to do is stream all night. Lobby full, rock skull. Never gonna play with me, but it's alright.